Well, the stage is set for the NFC Championship game on Sunday. Los Angeles playing host to San Francisco. And the Niners, they've won the previous 6 meetings against the Rams there, including their last meeting in Week 18. Remember that. Now they're seeing them once again. Stafford trying to keep his first season in L.A. on a roll. The good, 4 touchdown passes. The bad, 4 interceptions along with 7 sacks in those 2 losses against the Niners this year. Have to go back to 33 years the last time these two teams have faced off in an NFC Championship game. In other words, pretty long time, but up to this point. All right, Brandon Baylor here on CBS Sports HQ, presented by H&R Block. Help is here, and joining me now, 1/3 of the Pick Six podcast, host Will Brinson, ahead of Sunday's matchup. And Will, let's start. Give me your here-to-help player of this game.
There are a lot of guys that you could go with in this Niners and Rams matchup. You know, certainly any of the, Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown winner, who told the Athletic earlier this week that his favorite play was a block against Robert Quinn. I mean, what a blue-collar beast. But I'm going to go with another guy who's doing some blocking, and that's Trent Williams, expected to play, a little banged up, but the best offensive lineman in professional football this year, the left tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. You see that the highest grade by PFF in a single season for an offensive lineman, for anybody, I guess. Wow. Since 2000, Trent Williams, 98.2. He is unbelievable in terms of not just his ability to run block, his ability to pass block, his ability to get to the second level on screens, but we even saw what could best be called adult offensive line material last Sunday when Kyle Shanahan put him in motion before the snap and had him coming across Jimmy Garoppolo's face to go block guys on a run play and a sweep. I mean, this is outrageous what he's able to do. Trent Williams is a big, big factor in this game. We assume he'll be full bore and play the entire game. If he does, I think that gives the Niners a huge boost. Trent Williams certainly here to help.
Yeah, that was just unfair, coming in motion. We've all seen that video on Instagram and Twitter, you name it. That is very scary. 6'5", almost 300 pounds coming across the line. You don't want to be part of that. All right, how about some of those QB props for this NFC Championship game you got for me?
Yeah, so looking at this game, I think it's a pretty easy one. Now, everyone knows that I'm hashtag my Niners, right? Or hashtag our Niners, depending on if you got on the bandwagon or not. I'm a big Niners guy. I had them to win the Super Bowl before the season, had them in the Super Bowl when the playoffs started. 1 game away. I do think that they might be able to pull it off, but I think there's some value in fading Jimmy Garoppolo, or at least predicting that Jimmy Garoppolo will make a mistake. We've seen him, I think, in 6 or 7 straight games, has thrown a pick, and it's just been just a horrendous decision making. He just seems to find a spot to make that one really bad decision. Also dealing with shoulder and hand injuries, and so I love an interception that first early in that game. So I love over half an interception minus 140 for Jimmy Garoppolo. That is pretty good value there.
Yeah, it's 2 in the postseason, 1 against Dallas and 1 in that last game against Green Bay. So I'm with you on that one, over that half there. How about the RBs when you talk about those props there?
We've seen a lot of steam, Brandon, on Cam Akers' rushing yards total over the last 24 to 48 hours. Was it 55.5? I actually took the over at 55.5 just because I thought it was good value, but it has gotten all the way up to 63.5. I'm probably going to come back down on that under, and this is one of my favorite prop bets for this game. I think it's a great window, first of all. You can lock in some profit. And, when you look at what the Niners do really well, I don't believe they've given up more than 70 rushing yards in a game in like the last 10 weeks. On this winning streak, they have shored up their run defense. Cam Akers did fumble twice last week. They kept going to him, even as the Buccaneers were mounting that furious comeback. And I expect that, when you factor in the number of carries he gets, still wasn't quite as explosive last week as he was the week before. I think the Achilles thing, the quick comeback may be catching up to him a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little more Sony Michel, maybe limit Cam Akers' carries in this spot. And, and if the Rams get down, they're going to be passing the ball to him anyway. I like the under 63.5 rushing yards on Akers.
You got plenty of targets here when it comes to the wideouts and tight ends. I mean, you can't go wrong with anything with the Rams or the Niners. Which way are you leaning here, though?
You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cooper Kupp's total receptions total, is at 7.5 at Caesars right now. That seems a little short for me. And, the Niners are not exactly insanely stout on the defensive back end. You can throw on them. This guy catches 10 passes per game, basically. And if the Rams are trailing, they will be feeding him. Even if the Rams are winning, as long as the Niners are managing to slow down the run, you're going to see Sean McVay need to pass the ball a little bit more. He knows the 49ers came back from a 17-0 deficit last week, and I would expect that we see him end up closer to week 10, 11 catches on 13 targets, than week 8, 7-7. Regardless, I expect Cooper Kupp to end up getting over that 7.5, even though it's a little juicy.
Still putting up numbers regardless how it may pan out there. All right, give me your play for the game here. Niners and Rams. Rams getting 3.5. The over-under at 45.5. Will this be a shootout? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, I don't really have a play on the total. I think I would probably lean under just because both Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay tend to they like to kick on fourth. They like to kick if they got fourth and short near the goal line. They're not afraid of short field goals. Neither is really as aggressive as their sort of public their public opinion might lead you to believe. And so I would probably lean under, but if the game starts getting, going back and forth, you get a couple of quick scores, could get out of hand quickly. I just prefer the 49ers. And I know this is a little bit of a concern, but that everybody's aware of this. Since 2019, Sean McVay simply has not beaten Kyle Shanahan. And they've been close games, of course. That last one went to OT. The previous one this year, 31-10. The Niners are really, really desperate at 3-5, and the Rams are sort of still coming off this emotional high of going after the Buccaneers. I do like the 49ers, though, to win and cover this game. I had them as my preseason Super Bowl pick. Picked them to go to the Super Bowl before the playoffs. Think that they are just a bad matchup from a schematic and personnel standpoint when it comes to play for the Rams. I like the 49ers to win the game and certainly to cover that 3.5.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.